There. Little technical glitch. Let's talk inflammation. Well, you and I walked the beach today because as we focus on health, inflammation is everything. If you have high inflammation, everything that you're doing isn't going to work as well. And I don't know about you, but I want to put in, I call it the lazy girl's way to being healthy. And if you're like me and don't want to spend your whole entire day focused on being healthy and doing all the healthy things, then we want our choices that we're taking to be optimized. And to be optimized, we need our inflammation low. And to have our inflammation low, we need magnesium. You and I have talked about magnesium before. Magnesium has been shown when our body has access to magnesium, it decreases inflammation in our body. But we don't just need a little dose of magnesium that we get in a pill. We need magnesium in the interstitial spaces. How do we get magnesium in the interstitial spaces? New research is showing that when we soak in magnesium, that's when we start filling up that interstitial space. And I'm turning around this way because I don't want to walk through a little stream of water and get my feet all wet this way. So, new studies are showing, newest research is showing that when we're soaking in magnesium, that's what's filling up that interstitial space. And how do we determine how much is in our interstitial space? Interstitial space. And they've found that your magnesium red blood cell levels equal what's in your interstitial spaces. And so that's why I think it's incredibly important to know your magnesium red blood cell level. The other thing is, whew, it's cold. This is, I packed my coat and could not find it this morning. It's packed in a box somewhere or in the car, buried under some things as we drive back to Utah. So this is going to be a short live because it is a little chilly. Um, so knowing that number is important because more and more, it didn't used to be this way when I started talking about magnesium, but more and more I see this happening that when you soak in magnesium, that it's not going into that interstitial space. And a couple of reasons: really high inflammation, low taurine, and high cortisol. Now, magnesium helps to offset cortisol. You have your hormone building blocks. And if you're someone who gets stressed out easily or has a lot of stress, your body takes that building block for your hormones. And instead of going to hormone balance, it goes to create cortisol. And think of cortisol like a ball with knives that bounces around your body and wreaks havoc everywhere. And so we need to bring that cortisol down. But how do you do that when you're stuck in the loop of high stress and pushing magnesium out? Adding taurine can be very beneficial. Now, taurine you can get from whole food sources. So you can go Google high taurine food sources, look at that list, and pull off what is appropriate for you. And you can also add taurine as a supplement. But remember, that taurine as a supplement is synthetic. It doesn't have the cofactors. That's why we want magnesium that is a sea brine because it has some of the cofactors, but some of us need more. So if you do think you might need to add taurine, which is a simple amino acid, go low and slow. Because remember, I'm not a doctor and not telling you what to do. You and I are just talking about some things that could be beneficial for our health. And when you add taurine, if you're adding too much, oh, my light just went out. If you're adding too much for your body, it can tank your thyroid production. And we don't want to do anything that tanks thyroid production. So let's say you've added taurine and you start getting more tired. Well, we need to look at your taurine intake because it could be that the taurine is blocking you from creating thyroid hormones if you have too much. One other thing I want to talk about as I walk back to my car and we close out this live because it is really cold, um, is, for example, the foods that we eat can cause high inflammation, right? And what triggers your body may not trigger my body. And the form of the food makes a difference. I'll talk about one of mine to kind of help illustrate this point, and that is corn. If I eat regular corn, it does not matter what I do for my body, my inflammation levels stay high. I can tell because the next morning my joints are achy, I hurt, I'm not as bendable. It hurts to even get out of bed if I am eating corn. And so that's a food that I really have to limit. But good morning, ladies. But I discovered I can have small amounts of blue corn if it's stone ground. And that's a really good fit for me because I do love corn. And so that way, I don't have this food that's an absolute no, because that can be triggering for our brains, depending upon where we're at with our relationship with food. And so to me, it's worth playing with the foods that I eat to figure out, is this one triggering to me? I have a daughter who cannot do tomatoes. And so I immediately went to, ooh, tomatoes are in the nightshade family. It might be nightshades, but she can do other nightshades with no problem. It's just tomatoes. And so your journey will take you on that pathway of figuring out which ones, oh, which ones are increasing your inflammation. Because when inflammation is high, insulin or glucose is not going where it needs to go. And every cell in your body needs glucose. And magnesium is not entering your cells. Ooh, 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 it's cold. Sorry about that. Ooh. Um, and magnesium is not entering your cells or is being pushed out. And so if you're eating a high, oh shoot, I just spilled my whole little travel pouch of stuff I travel with. Eye drops, electrolytes, all the things. And so if you are eating a food that's causing you high inflammation, you can be pushing that magnesium right out. In fact, it can be so frustrating when you go to get your levels tested and you've been soaking and your numbers are not where you think they should be. And so I want you to look at those foods that you're eating. Do you have foods that you know you're a little achy the next morning? We're starting the 30-day challenge on the 13th. I'd love for you to join me. And when you are eating those foods that are causing you higher inflammation, we know that you're going to need to soak in magnesium more often to keep those numbers of your magnesium red blood cell higher. And your magnesium red blood cell number matches your interstitial number, the magnesium in the fluid around your cells. And that's where it's most important. That's where your magnesium, where your body goes to get magnesium for your organs. I would love to know, do you have specific foods that you know inflame you? For me, it's corn. A great way that worked well for me, it's not exact science, but it was very helpful to me, is 2 hours after I ate a food to take my heart rate. And so you take your heart rate before you eat the meal, and then 2 hours after you've eaten the meal, you take the heart rate. And if your heart rate has gone up substantially, that can be signs of an inflammation marker with something that you ate in that meal. And that really helped me to narrow it down, to be able to tell which foods were causing my body to overreact, because our goal is optimal health with minimal input so we can be out there living things and doing things in great big kinds of ways. I would love to know, leave in the comment section below, what foods, if there's a food that you know causes you inflammation. And remember, if you're waking up in the morning and you're feeling achy, that's high inflammation. And that means you are going to require more magnesium soaking to get those interstitial spaces filled with magnesium. And taurine can be beneficial in that to help you hold on to the magnesium. And another one is boron. Now, not in the soaking water, but internally. You can grab ionic boron on Amazon, and Shelly can leave a link for Shelly, if you would leave a link, please, for the one that I like. You do need to be careful on boron, though, because it's not a good fit for everyone. If you have polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, boron's going to make that worse. Boron can automatically bring inflammation down. Too much of it can cause havoc to your hormones. And so it goes back to that philosophy of everything in its balance. I'm headed out today. The car is packed. I'm ready to go. My husband is home waiting for me. And my fur baby was really sad because I left the house again with my walking shoes on without taking him. And so I'll go back and take him for a little short walk. And I will see you next Monday. We'll be sharing the link all over social media to sign up for the 30-day challenge. We're doing it a little bit different this year, in that you will have to sign up for it. It won't just be on social media. And we'll have some live Zoom classes, and we'll have some videos that get sent out. And that starts next Monday. I'd love to have you join me. Have a beautiful day, and let's create optimal health. Bye, guys.